NAACP now joining the legal team investigating the death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells, adding its Office of General Counsel to a group that already includes civil rights attorney Ben Crump and the Reverend Al Sharpton. The NAACP says it's getting involved to push for, quote, truth and transparency. Wells was reported missing the night of July 4th after a boating trip with friends, and his body was found July 6th just off Horn Island. His cause of death still undetermined. Now, as questions grow, the family's lawyers say they're ready to immediately turn over Nolan's phone for a joint forensic search. They're asking Jackson, George County's District Attorney Angel Myers-Malcarath to pick a time between Tuesday and Friday. They've also asked for reconfirmation of the location for that. Both sides agreed back on July 15th to have their experts and possibly the FBI examine the phone together as the family presses for answers and accountability.
We are completely focused, completely laser focused on getting to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Welcome back, domestic true crime lovers. There has been a growing tension around a very sensitive topic in this Nolan Wells case we've been on, and this is the events surrounding Nolan's phone. There are a lot of shocking reveals in the series of videos we are about to show you. Walk with us through each video and commentary. We're stepping deeper into this case. And also, there has been a growing effort to silence channels as these that gives perspectives to cases as this on all platforms. Please help us reach more people and let Nolan's case and voice be heard by joining the family and making the family one individual stronger. Please hit the like and subscribe to the channel to give more strength, visibility, and voice to our work and stories. As this now, let's go into this case.
Thank you for joining us. Why are you getting involved? Why is the organization getting involved?
Well, I think it's important for the family and the community to get answers. The local officials, the state of Mississippi, have not been as transparent as they should have been. Now that we have Kristen Clark as our general counsel, who served as DOJ head of Civil Rights Division, she's familiar with the procedures that should be in place. We have strong relationship with retired law enforcement officers on the ground, and we need some transparency from our local officials and give the family some answers.
Now, on August 12th, 2026, the Wells family would report a very shocking development in the Nolan Wells case, and it was so unexpected that the family had to respond almost immediately, both through the media and through their attorney, Ben Crump. Now, let's take a step back. On July 15th, there had already been an agreement between the Wells family and the DA's office for a joint forensic examination of Nolan Wells's phone. The family had been waiting for the next steps and for the DA's office to move forward with what had been agreed upon. But then, almost a month later, something changed. On August 12th, the Wells family was reportedly asked to turn over Nolan Wells's phone for examination by law enforcement, rather than proceeding with the joint examination that had previously been discussed. And this is where the tension began. Because if there had already been an agreement on July 15th for both sides to participate in the examination, why was the family now being asked to simply submit Nolan's phone for a separate examination? That question became so important that Nolan Wells's legal team responded to the DA's office, reminding them of the earlier agreement and making their position clear. And now, as we go deeper into this part of the story, you're going to hear what the Wells family and their legal team had to say about this development. Because the question is no longer simply about Nolan's phone. The bigger question is, what changed between July 15th and August 12th? And why did an agreement for a joint examination suddenly become a dispute over who would examine the phone? Listen carefully to what comes next, because this is where the story gets even more interesting.
Have been asked to turn over his cell phone to the Mississippi law enforcement authorities, but even that is troubling to them because they're saying messages that were deleted from his cell phone, so they want to try to dot every I and cross every T and investigate everything. They said it's very improbable that Nolan would not have wanted his cell phone with him if he was going to stay on the island.
There were deleted text messages on his phone. His parents found that. Who found that out?
Now, well, they got his phone, so they're trying to figure out. There's deletions on the phone, and they're trying to look at what is that about. There's so many inconsistencies going on, and so we're going to have, with our investigators and our associates, we're going to list all the inconsistencies down. We just got onto the case yesterday, so we have been staying up late with the family, talking to friends, talking to people who were there on that 4th of July, trying to piece together what really happened to Nolan Wells.
Now listen to that. That is Ben Crump that just finished speaking about the fact that Nolan Wells's phone was found with deleted pictures and videos. Now we're going to play you a video where his mom gives context to this particular interview and to this particular angle that Ben Crump just reviewed. But before we play that video, I want you to take your time and really answer me genuinely. Do you think it was possible that Nolan, an 18-year-old with his friends, who called him brothers, all went to Horn Island in a happy, teen-filled feeling on a boat, and from the start of that day till the end of that day, Nolan didn't take any picture and didn't record any video? And guess what? While thinking about that, also put this at the back of your mind. His friends had pictures, his friends had videos, so why didn't Nolan's phone have any? This only points to one thing. Whatever happened to those pictures and videos on Nolan's phone deserves serious attention. And remember, Nolan's mom had already told us that Nolan is a person who is always on the media side. He's always poised towards taking pictures, taking videos, and documenting his moments. So how is it that on a very special day like this, which should have been a fun day for every teenager, when Nolan goes out there, he took no pictures, he took no videos, and his Snapchat history for 24 hours was deleted? Nothing. Nothing found. And this same person who for 24 hours was said to not take any picture or any video was found dead 2 days later. What does that tell you? For every other person who went to that island, there appears to be something on their phones. They have a picture to show, they have a video to show, except the one who ends up dead. Now, I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm asking you to look at the same information and ask yourself the question, why? Why is Nolan the one person whose phone, according to his family's account, has nothing from that crucial period? Watch the mother speak about this. Then we'll come back to our analysis.
When we opened it up, there was nothing. There were no saved pictures. There were no snaps from that day. And we did open it before the 24-hour expiration. So we found that very concerning, only because anyone who's ever been around Nolan will tell you at social gatherings, he's taking videos, he's taking pictures, he's even come up to me when I'm getting ready to go to bed, hey Ma, come on, take a picture of me. Like that was Nolan. So that's why we feel that things may have been deleted, was because of the fact that there was nothing in either one of his accounts.
Nolan is and was an incredible soul. He was the person who, no matter where you were in life, or what was going on, he was going to be your biggest cheerleader. And I can attest to that because after COVID, my sister was like, oh, you should do social media. And I'm like, I don't want to do social media. I like to just watch others. And then Nolan was like, no, Mom, you should do it. I'll help you with the videos. I got you. And, just anytime I was like, oh, I just really don't want to do this anymore, Nolan was like, no, Mama, you haven't posted today. And I'm like, I don't want to post. I'm tired. Yeah. But, that's the kind of person he was. He was God-fearing, God-loving. That boy had faith beyond measure. He was just a bright light. And he was our bright light. As far as that day goes, went to work. And he was making salmon, so he was FaceTiming me as I'm trying to see patients kind of in between, of course not answering the phone in the room. And he's like, hey mama, how does this look? Is this enough season? Like, what am I supposed to do with this? And I was like, okay. I was like, you don't have to do that. And he's like, no, I'm gonna take care of it. I was like, okay, sure. And so he finishes cooking, get home, he's like, yeah, what you know about this? And he was, guys, when I tell you, he loved to joke. Like, he was just one of those people. He wanted everyone around him to smile, be happy, feel comfortable and accepted. And that is the kind of person God made him.
Now, think about that for a moment. Think about what his biological mother, the woman who raised him, who knows him, who gave birth to him, and who can best describe the kind of person Nolan was, actually said. She said her son was someone who was very much into media, someone who took pictures, recorded moments, and documented what was happening around him. And yet, according to what she described, when his phone was eventually recovered, something was strangely different. Within that crucial 24-hour period, his phone was empty. No streak, no pictures, no snaps, nothing. And that goes against the character of the person his mother says Nolan was. It goes against who she knew her son to be. Now, as if the unanswered questions surrounding this case were not already enough, we are now looking at a situation where information that could potentially help us understand Nolan's final hours is itself becoming a major question. For me, this is one of the most disturbing parts of this entire case. How do you tell the world that a young man went to an island with his friends, spent the day with them, disappeared, and was eventually found 2 days later, and somehow, according to the family's account, there are no pictures, no videos, no Snapchat memories from that crucial period? How does that make sense? And don't forget what we showed you yesterday. We played a video showing what has been reported as a confirmed fight that took place on the island, with Nolan reportedly present in the middle of that confrontation. And here's what makes that even more important. There is video evidence. We are going to show you that footage next. And I want you to look carefully at Nolan. Look at the shorts he was wearing that day. Pay attention to the color, and compare it with the pictures that have already surfaced from that period. Because if Nolan was present during that confrontation, and if he was reportedly recording what was happening, then we have another very important question. What happened to that recording? What happened to the footage Nolan reportedly captured? And what happened between that moment and the point where he was eventually found? Those are questions we still don't have complete answers to. And that is why the claim that Nolan simply took nothing during that entire final day becomes even more difficult to understand. A young man who, according to his mother, loved documenting his life. A young man who was reportedly present during a confrontation that was captured on video. A young man who went to the island with his friends. And yet, according to the family's account, nothing remains on his phone from that crucial period. No pictures, no snaps, no videos, nothing. Whatever happened after that confrontation remains a mystery. And as we move deeper into this angle of the case, I want you to watch this next video very carefully.
Nolan was there. He was in a fight on the island. He was trying to get his phone back, and he did board the boat. This is the message. Of course, I took off this person's identifying information, and they say the exact same thing. Nolan recorded a fight.
Now we know why the family wants a joint examination of the phone. They clicked that someone's lying real hard and someone is trying to cover it up. There's a last clip of Warren. We will upload and want you to observe carefully, then see clearly for yourself the purported lies in this case. Please drop your sincere comments and observation as they are key to this case. And please subscribe as we build forward. Let's hear Warren's account on the phone, and you let us know your thoughts.
Right. Well, what happened with the cell phone thing? So let's go back to the first engagement you had when it comes to the family or somebody coming back to get the cell phone and keys. When did that occur, and what happened there?
Okay, well, that night, about 12:30, I went back to my buddy's house.
And you said the night of the 4th?
The night of the 4th, but it was about 12:30, I would like to say. And so I went back to my buddy's house that I stayed the night before, where we all met up, and stayed together the night before. And my buddy got a call from this guy, and the guy was like, oh, like, you know, like, what's going on with all this Nolan stuff? Very aggravated. I mean, yeah, every right to be, but I mean, we were trying to calm him down, and like, he was just like, oh, like, where are y'all at? My buddy said, you know, we're at my buddy's house, and he said, all right, and then he just hung up. And so about 30 minutes later, I'd like to say, all of a sudden the door just got open and slammed, and there was a girl who walked in, and like probably about 8 or 9 guys behind her, and then another mom, which was Javon's mom. And
who's Javon? I want to put that in perspective. Who is Javon?
Javon is one of Nolan's good friends. He's a friend of mine too, you know, like great guy. And his mom and their family is, you know, very close with, you know, the Wells family. And I mean, so I don't know why she was there, like what was going on, but I was very surprised by this. I was like, you know, like you just basically like kick the door open and, you know, bust up in the house with no knock or anything.
So is Javon black or white?
Javon's mixed. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, I guess he's mixed.
Yeah.
So, but he's not white.
No, he's not white.
Just white.
Yeah.
Or all white, I guess you might call it.
Yeah.
So then they come in the house. Do you know any of these people? And
I know some of the guys.
The mom, but do you know anybody else?
I've seen the mom before, and I know most of them. Most of the guys went to high school with me, and like I'm friends with some of the guys. I mean, you know, I know some of them. So eventually, like things started to get heated, and I was just like a guy I was friends with in high school. He was like, "Man, come outside with me," and I was like, "All right." And I walked outside with him. He was like, "Man, I don't know why." Like they were panicking, and you know, like this is just like I think Nolan's just on somebody's couch. He's been drinking all day. He's just messed up, and you know, this is nothing that we have to worry about. As much as you know, I sat there and I told him, I was like, you know, I agree. I would think, you know, he's on somebody's couch, just had been drinking all day and just, you know, drank too much and was super intoxicated. And, you know, that's kind of what a lot of us thought, but they were kind of losing it and they were going crazy. And the mom that was with them demanded Nolan's phone because Nolan left the phone on the boat. And when we ran in, Nolan didn't ask for his phone and his keys were not on the boat because his car was parked at my buddy's house where we had all slept, you know, the night before the 4th. And so the keys were left at the house because Nolan's car was at my buddy's house where we stayed at. So of course he left his keys there. But his phone, I mean, he was drinking. He didn't have his phone in the water because no one did. And I mean, there was more than just Nolan's phone that wasn't on the boat with us.
So it was more than just Nolan's phone that was on the boat.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously had all our phones, but on the boat. But